Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Lunch Table Podcast with Dylan and Akram. For today's episode, we are reviewing Netflix's new series, the adaptation of Neil Gaiman's The Sandman from DC Comics. I gotta say, it's a wonderful show. It's very dark. It has some great themes as well. Akram, take us away with your thoughts.
Oh yeah, man! I really enjoyed it. I was kind of skeptical since Netflix is handling the property, and I was wondering if they'll do right by the actual source material. And from what I've heard, because I'm not a big like Sandman guy, but from what I heard, they did a really great job of paying close attention to the source material. I really enjoyed the show. I have to admit, I really did. I can't wait for season 2. So, what did you think about it?
I'd have to say it's a dream come true.
Yeah.
It's like Inception meets like Supernatural. But it still has like a gritty realism too. Neil Gaiman, I think he held off selling the rights to the show for a long time. I think they tried to make like movies and stuff, but he was waiting for the proper time, to make sure like it really serves justice to the comics. And I think now is like the perfect time because there's so many really good adaptions on like Netflix and so many great movies as well. So it was a really great show. I really appreciate Tom Sturridge did an amazing job as Morpheus. He has such like an alluring voice. It's like almost like hypnotic. It's like listening to like ASMR or something. It's
Yeah.
like so dark but like so dreamy, and I think that really encapsulates Morpheus's character. But yeah, it was a really great show. There was so many themes of like religion, like existentialism, and and the endless are like they're not just like the personifications of like the functions they serve. Like they really are like what they are. So like Morpheus is literally the embodiment of like dreams and stuff. But yeah, he had like such a great like character. Like I really felt like, and like he was silent for most of the first episode. But once you start learning more about him, it becomes so much more like interesting. Um, yeah, there were so many great like actresses and actors in this movie, like Charles Dance. Like I didn't expect him to be in this show.
Mm.
Jenna Louise Coleman, she moved on from Doctor Who. Now she's doing big stuff. So she plays Johanna Constantine. That was a
Right.
curveball for me. I didn't expect her that they were gonna switch like a gender swap
Me
for John
neither. Yeah.
Constantine. That was
Yeah.
interesting. But I think she played it well. I think
Mm.
she really encapsulated what John is about to. But were there any characters that stood out to you in this series?
Oh, Death for sure, played by Kirby Howell Baptiste. I loved her character. I loved the little explanation. That whole episode in general was one of my favorite episodes. I thought it was so beautiful, and it shone a new light on. It made me think, really, like that's so weird how like we're all so scared of death, but we welcome birth, right? Um, it's venturing into that unknown aspect, and the way how she explains it is like you're born seeing like a happy face, a welcoming face, and that's how she greets people when they die. The whole thing's beautiful. Even a little bar scene. Me and you were talking a little earlier. We really like that
I love
whole.
Hobbs and
Oh
Dreams
yeah,
bromance. It's so good.
that was great. That was hilarious too, and I like it because so he stuck around for so long, and little by little he is changing. Right, he's trying out new things. It's crazy how humans really have to like live for that long to change so much, right? Unless if you have a certain perspective. But Dream, he really changed too. So it was kind of like a symmetry there between Hobbs and Dream. Over time, they gain new perspectives. I thought that was beautiful. How about
Mhm.
you?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, there was a lot of great episodes. It felt like so much like a graphic novel series. Like
Yeah.
it didn't have like, I mean, it kind of had like a overarching plot
Mhm.
because the first episode sets the tone, with Dream being captured, and that kind of sets the events of every other episode.
Right.
But for the most part, it felt like every episode had its own plot. Like it didn't feel like it was like this grand. I think Netflix sometimes they tend to like make shows where like every episode feels like it's part of one narrative, but there's so many characters and so many side plots but it works,
Yeah.
right? Like the whole diner scene with Johnny, played by David Thewlis, like that was such like a transformative experience. It was like it was like a whole, I don't know if it was like a 10-minute long scene or something, but none of it had like Dream or the Endless. It was just literally just about like humans just interacting, right? And their deepest like inner thoughts, their intrusive thoughts like come to life, and it's so dark, and it's so like it really shows off like the worst of like humanity. But what do you think of that scene?
Girl, that was tea. Let me say that first and foremost. Bitch, I was like, wow. I was like, damn. I felt like I was looking at like a TLC show or some shit like that. It
Right.
was like Like, it was really man, I enjoyed it so much. Like, I didn't expect to enjoy it so much as I did. That's what I loved about this show. It's like it feels like an anthology thing or like you said, a graphic novel. That thing was really, uh, I don't know, I couldn't take my eyes off the screen. Really, I couldn't not because it was like a social
It escalated
experiment.
so fast.
It did.
It was like they're just having, like, a regular diner experience, and then it ends with, like, them, like, fighting and fucking, and then, like, they just end up killing each other. It was
Well, you
so
know, it's a thought
transformative.
experiment too, because it's like, well, what if everyone really does tell the truth? Like, it unequivocally tells the truth, right? Sometimes it's not like just saying a lie, like, "Oh, I'm okay, whatever." No, but really telling the truth and actually pursuing what you want. I think it could destroy the world, really, and it makes
Mhm.
sense now. And that's just like a little small scale experiment, and that's why I think that episode is going to stand out for a really long time, because of that. You know, it reveals
Yeah,
a lot.
I like the idea of, like, dreams versus lies, like,
Mm,
they're similar, but they're so different too.
right,
That's what Morpheus was trying to explain to Johnny, like, "Yeah, we tell ourselves lies, but we still have these dreams where we can pursue that, you know, because humans are so subject to change, like,
right.
we're not so stuck in our past lives, like, we can move forward and, like, we can change our stances on and ideas on, like, certain things." So I thought that was a really interesting, like, concept. Um, Also the hell scene or the hell episode too, I love that up with Gwendolyn Christie.
I love that. That
That
was
was
so
so good,
great.
and it's interesting too, like, they changed her, like, cause I think, Lucifer is a man in the comics too, so that was
Mm.
interesting that they gender swapped, but I think she did a really good job too, like, she really encapsulated, like, Lucifer, like, he's so, like, charismatic,
Oh, for
and
sure.
it showed Morpheus's power too.
Oh, yeah, and I love seeing anything that's, like, set in hell. I'm always interested to see, like, how did they design it? And I thought it looked really interesting. I never seen hell with, like, a sky, really, in anything I've ever seen before, so I thought that realm was just very, very cool to see. Gwendolyn Christie too, awesome job. We don't see much of her. I can't wait to see more of her in season 2. Hopefully, there's season 2. Usually when a show does good, Netflix scraps it, so I hope that actually warrants season 2, and I hope a lot of people are enjoying it. But yeah, that whole scene was crazy. Um,
Mhm.
and she has a lot to do with season 2 later on. We'll talk about. So,
I got some theories, but
mm,
yeah, this show had a lot of great villains, like her, of course, is Lucifer. Johnny was a great villain as well, even though he's just like a human, but he's like a very emotionally damaged human. But of course, we gotta talk about Boyd Holbrook as the
mm.
Corinthian because he was so fucking good. I love that actor. He was in Logan. He plays like a lot of like charismatic like villains too. But what did you think of his character?
Yeah, I always think of him every time he acts somewhere. He's very USA, and here he's like very like he's just driven by, I guess, trying to defy his god. I guess you could consider Dream as like his god or whatever. Um, he's
He
awesome.
was
He
kind of like an Agent Smith
kind
in
of
this
yeah,
show.
exactly. That's true. Yeah, yeah, the
It's funny because
same.
he wears sunglasses too.
Right, exactly. Yeah, he was great here. I just love his mannerisms, the charisma, as you were saying. Whenever he talks to somebody, he's so welcoming somehow, right?
Right.
And everyone
Like, you
thinks he's
just wanna, like,
handsome.
sit down and have, like, a drink with him or something.
And then but you're fine with him taking your eyes away. It's like it's
Right.
great.
That's funny because like, there was those, foster parents of Jed, they were, like, such fucking assholes.
I know.
I was glad when, like, he killed him. I was like, I'd rather fucking like, cause in 24 hours, Corinthian was a better father figure to Jed
Right,
than Barnaby
right.
was his entire life. So I
Yeah,
was like, "Damn, I'd rather have this cold motherfucker as my dad." But
yeah.
he was so suave. He's like, you know, like I said, he's like an Agent Smith. Or he's like an anti, like, Bond character too, but he's so good.
Mm,
But he's also, like, a sympathetic character too, cause like, I can understand, like, where he's coming from, cause Dream kinda, like, was a little bit cruel sometimes, I feel like. Or not cruel, but, like, he was very cold to, like, his creations too, like, we saw that with Gaunt and, with Gregory. I was crying for Gregory, honestly. That was,
yeah,
like,
I know.
when Buckbeak when they murdered him in Harry Potter, I was, like, crying, but yeah, so many great moments in this show.
Yeah, so many. I actually want to get your thoughts on Desire because that was a controversial one. Because some people were saying like, why have this actor played Desire? I thought Mason Alexander played it wonderfully. I loved them as Desire. I really did. What did you think?
Yeah, that's actually a very he was actually a very accurate or they were actually a very accurate depiction of, Desire from the comics. They reminded me so much of, him from, Powerpuff Girls
Yeah,
is, like,
right. Yeah,
this
yeah.
evil, like, androgynous character, but yeah, they did a really good job, and I really like, their performance,
Mm.
Yeah, he's also great villain as well. So many great villains in the show, like, I
Really.
must say.
Yeah, for sure.
It's such a dark show, and it really plays with, like it feels like a Lucifer, like a supernatural show, but and I think I don't know why they chose, like do you think this would have been different if they went to, like, HBO or, like, Hulu?
I think so, a little bit. Yeah, I think a little bit. I don't know where it would change. Um, it's weird because this isn't bad. Like I expected it to be bad because it was on Netflix, but it wasn't bad. So it's like, well, I don't really know. Like, what would they change if it was on
It's
HBO
hit or
Max?
miss. Yeah, like, Netflix, sometimes they have hit or miss adapt but I think this was definitely a hit. I think people, who appreciate the comics and who haven't read the comics, I think there's gonna be an equal amount of love for the show.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I already
Mhm,
loved it. I was really skeptical coming in. If you guys haven't watched it yet, yeah, definitely check it out. It's worth the watch. They're pretty long
mhm,
episodes, but they're so like I love how like you don't really think of time too. It's like so much time passes through each episode, and I love how it just makes sense for the story. It's a really like fun watch, and you could get through it like probably in one day. I mean, they're long episodes, but it's really addicting too. So
mhm.
yeah,
Yeah, you could get invested in it really quickly,
yeah.
but I want to ask you, what did you think of, Rose Walker's, character? Because she plays, like, a pivotal role in this show where she kinda plays, like, this kind of almost, like, weapon of mass destruction, basically. But she plays, like, another fucking tropey I keep saying this,
Yeah.
like, I feel like the trope now or the trend is, like, these young characters that have, like, these grand powers like Cirilla from The Witcher or, like, Grogu or something. Like, it feels like it's, like, another trend, but I didn't mind her character, I thought she was great. What did you think of her?
I think she was fine. I wasn't feeling her character that much. I think she was fine. We kind of got a little tease of her in a diner scene. Like I think she was like talking to uh the other girl there, but I think she's fine. Yeah, it's very tropey. It's weird because like she's just like thrown into the mix and yet she could like believe everything so quickly even if the proof is right there. I mean still it's like she adapted so fast. It was a little weird. So I don't know. I'm kind of glad that like she had a happy ending too, but I didn't really care about her that much, and especially that thing that happened with Lyda was like okay, like Dream wanted to take the because Lyda gets pregnant. Dream wanted to take the baby away, and it's like, well, I don't know. I
I
felt
kept
weird.
laughing, I'm sorry. I kept laughing at like, imagine you
I
just wake
know.
up and you're suddenly pregnant. I don't know, that was just so funny to me.
Well,
But it's
yeah.
it's it's dark, yeah, I kinda felt bad for her too because she did have to, like, sacrifice her husband, but she kept the baby, so
Right, because
it
Dream
was weird.
said, "Yeah, oh, the baby for now." I was like, "Damn, he's cold." But then all of a sudden, like which I understood Lyda, because in the hospital, Lyda was like it was really weird though, when she was like, "You gotta defeat Dream." "Yeah, do it." She was, like, trying to coerce, like,
Right.
Rose to, like, kill this guy.
She's instigating,
Right,
yeah.
just because her baby, so I kinda got that, but I felt like, I wonder if it would've been better to linger more with that to make it more of a captivating, thread or not. I don't know. I didn't really care that much to be honest with you.
Mhm.
I don't know. That's the great thing from the show. The show explores so many different characters though. It feel and like a lot of there's like so much resolution in like certain episodes. It felt like you could have saved it for season 2. I'm glad they didn't though. I'm glad like a lot of stuff was resolved because it didn't feel like rush. Like each episode took its time, yeah, it resolved things. So I think that they did it perfectly. I think Neil is probably really proud of the show too. I think he should be.
Oh, yeah, definitely,
Yeah.
and it's great. I feel like it's a shame that, they didn't try to make a shared universe. Well, actually, I think this works really well on its own
Mhm.
because this does share a universe with the Lucifer and the Lock and Key shows, but, they've already, like, stated that they're not a part of this universe, so it actually would have been a shame that they didn't try to make a shared universe. I feel like this could have been, like, a successful, like, TV, like, universe, but on
Netflix
its own, I think
verse.
it works really well, yeah.
Well, it'll be weird because so Lucifer is another fan favorite, but that's a different actor. So then you would have to. So what's up with that? And then Lock and Key. I to be honest with you, I dropped out of Lock and Key like mid season 1. I didn't really like it that much, so I don't even know what's happening with that. I'm surprised
Mhm.
that they're like somehow share something. Um, I like it as a standalone though. I kind of like because if it's in a shared universe, I don't know. Although I do, I have to admit, I was really thrown aback by Jenna Coleman being actual like replacing John because she's an ancestor in the comics or novels or whatever. So the fact that she replaced John and she has like a similar type of trench coat, I was a little thrown. I would have liked to see. I think his name's Matt Smith or so, which will be weird because he's a part of the Legends universe or Arrowverse right now, technically. But I think she did fine.
I wonder if they're gonna do like a spin-off series for Constantine. What do you think?
I mean, I think that'll be really cool. Yeah, I think it warrants it. I think Neil Gaiman so shipped that too. Like he was saying, like I think he's starting to campaign. I would love that. I mean, I still would have loved like Matt Smith or Matt Ryan, whatever, playing Constantine. But as a Netflix series, I think that would be cool. I'm a big fan of like Conjuring or the show Evil, right? So I like that type of stuff. I think that would be cool.
I could see it. I mean, like if you think about it, like because Netflix lost their deal with Marvel,
Right.
so I guess the best thing would be like DC. You know, as far as like universe building. I could see it because I could actually see this having like a season two. I think it warrants a season two because it
Mhm.
left off on like so many things. Like we'll talk about predictions in a little bit, but yeah, I think overall the characters worked really well in the show, and I think I could see them having like their own like spin-off shows like as far as like a shared universe building. But going into like what do you expect for like future seasons? What do you predict will happen with I guess for like a season two?
Well, I think the character showed up in Hell. I think the character was Azazel or something, or these generals in like I don't know. That was weird. That was some Doctor Strange shit. What happened there? Like that little rift or something. That was so like cool. I think that's going to happen. I know you know more about Sandman, so I can't wait to hear your predictions right now. Because I think that's gonna be it. So tell us yours.
Well, they left a few things open. So the first thing, the most obvious one was the cliffhanger with Lucifer. So Lucifer said she was going to do something that would make like God like livid and then like destroy Morpheus. So in the comics, Lucifer actually retires his role as the ruler of hell. So he actually lets everybody out of hell, and then he actually I think he gives the keys to hell to Morpheus, to deal with his problem. He's like, I don't know if this will destroy you, but it's definitely gonna you're definitely gonna be suffering doing this. So I feel like that's what her intentions are for next season. I think she's gonna let everybody out of hell, and then Morpheus has to deal with the ramifications of that. And then the other thing I think wasn't touched on because they mentioned the prodigal. And in the comics, the prodigal is actually destruction. That's one of the endless. So I forget. I think that there's like seven endless. So we didn't see destiny, destruction, or a delirium yet. So we still have those characters that we could see for next season too. And of course, I think Desire, I think has like some more schemes planned for Morpheus as well. And Morpheus, I mean, still he has to rebuild the dreaming, because there's so much in disarray. Right, he kind of like started. He's slowly building back his kingdom. But there could be so many like cool things we could see, like new nightmares and new dreams. I think it could be really interesting overall. Um, but yeah, any final thoughts for this series and how would you rate it?
Yeah, I think it really took off. It started really well, really strong. I think it ended really strong. I can't wait for season two. I hope Netflix doesn't scrap it. I don't know what's their decision making like anymore because they scrap a lot of good shows and like leave a lot of bullshit shows. I think this is really awesome. And I wonder if one day they would want to switch platforms. Like it's kind of still, it's like HBO Max is going to have that merger with Discovery. I know this is DC Vertigo, like that type of product, and the other ones they have there on and Netflix is so far that. So maybe they'll do some spin-offs too. I think that'll be really great. So what are your prediction? What is your final thoughts? I guess.
Well, I would give this show 9 out of 10. I think each episode was like really strong. It
Me
didn't
too.
feel like there were episodes that lost my interest. I mean, there were certain moments that were like confusing, but I think overall, I think it worked well. It's definitely it's part of that really like dark fantasy genre, and I think it works so well. And I think people that, like I said, that don't read the comics or people that do read the comics, I think they'll both appreciate it. I think Neil Gaiman did a wonderful job, consulting for this show, and I hope he sticks around for season two. But yeah, overall great show. If you guys should definitely watch it. I would definitely recommend one of the top tier Netflix shows, I would say.
Yeah.
Um,
for sure.
But yeah, take us away with
Yeah,
your overall
guys,
thoughts.
I completely agree with Dylan. I give it a 9 out of 10. If you guys, made it to the end, we always greatly appreciate you. These videos take a lot of time, a lot of stress too. So please drop a like, show us some support, help us out, please. We're still trying to make it. We want to make these videos worthwhile for us, the same as for you. If you're new to the channel, please check out our other playlists where we do plenty of reviews. The last Netflix show we reviewed was Resident Evil. And that was an interesting one. I got a lot of views so far, so really happy to see more new viewers. Welcome to the podcast. And then we're also going to review a lot more stuff coming up. We're going to do She-Hulk. We're going to do some reactions and some movie reviews too for Black Adam, another DC property. So Dylan, please take us away.
Well, thank you guys so much for sticking around for this review of The Sandman. Please support us any way you can. We're obviously on YouTube, Anchor, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. And we're expanding as a podcast every day, so you can check us on our Instagram and our Facebook page. We're also on TikTok as well. So you can see clips of our other podcasts as well. So we just did a review for Prey and Hulu's The Bear. So they were really cool shows that we were into. So yeah, we got a lot more stuff planned out for August and the coming months ahead. So thank you again, and until then, thank you for having lunch with us.
See you guys. Sleep, you guys.
I just have like sand in my hand. I'm like,
You spit it in my face.